Hello, my name is David Blanchard, and I am age 33. As of my other videos that you have seen for the introduction to this GoFundMe page, this video is to explain why I'm doing this fundraising, how your funds will be spent, and how much it will mean to me for your support. I'm raising money through GoFundMe so that I may do research on a topic that is very hush-hush and in the dark, and it is a subject that has affected my life by a large percentage. Now here's a question I have for you. What's the difference between the following books? There's nothing really different between the three books and this book that I just showed you. They're all talking about human trafficking. In reality, it's talking about slavery. This one book itself talks about my very own, more so through the poetry that's here. Male prostitution is a subject that is avoided because people have this visualization that males are supposed to be strong, muscular, and, well, non-accessible to be abused or forced into prostitution. But let me take a pin and pop that bubble. Because I'll tell you right now, prostitution, abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, or any type of abuse does not have an age, creed, or sexual orientation. It will happen to anybody, anywhere, at any time. The question is who will be noticed, who will be seen, and who will be heard. For the longest time, my story was not heard, until I met a wonderful lady who runs HeartSpeak and heard my story. The first two videos that you've seen to this plea for your help in my fundraising goal is because she wanted to learn and she wanted to educate. This video, however, is being done solely by me on your old regular Toshiba laptop with no special effects, because I want you to see me for me. I want you to hear my voice and see my eyes, so you can see the truth behind these eyes. The eyes to tell the story of what male prostitution can do. The eyes that can tell the story of what happens when somebody is ignored. Male prostitution is very real. I myself have experienced it. And no, it was not by choice. It was by survival. There are many males today who resort to prostitution as a way of survival. Many of them are much younger than I am. So young that it goes all the way down to age of 13. age 13 and up may choose to go into prostitution for survival. Youngers are basically being sexually abused at home or at school or anywhere you can possibly think of. The sad reality is nobody realizes that a child can most likely be sexually abused within your own home. It can be an uncle, a brother, a father, a mother, a grandmother. It can be anybody doing this to your child. It can happen to anybody, by anybody. You see, females were never heard for a long time. And it's only recently that the females have begun to be heard. But while the females are finally being heard, there's still some people that are not being heard. And that is the males. I want you to join me on this journey. Is it a journey that I know will succeed? No. Is it a journey that has 100% plotted routes of where it's going? No. But it is a journey that aims to bring the joy back into the journey. For whether it's females or males, that is our goal. But in order to get off the ground as a ministry, we need to prove that there's a need for a Canadian male-focused outreach. I've done the research so far, and yes, there are many charities out there that focus on prostitution, but majority of them focus on female prostitution. There's the odd that are co-ed, but there's not one Canadian program that is strictly geared to male prostitution. In the United States, they have a program, and it's been in operation for 25 plus years. That's got to tell you something. Canada is behind. Canada is so far behind in reaching out to its male victims of prostitution and abuse that at times I am sad to call myself Canadian. But here's the reality. I'm willing to consider myself Canadian and admit that we have our flaws. And yes, you know what? I am shaming Canadians right now. Because there are many things that Canadians turn their backs on. But there are many things we do great at. And now let me speak to the Christians out there. I applaud you for all the work you do, for the fundraising you do for many organizations and many programs out there. But let me ask you this. Will you accept my plea for help? Will you grab my hand and follow me on this journey? Or will you say no? Or will you say, I can't? Because if you say no to me and can't to me, you're saying those very things to God. Because this ministry / passion has been set on fire in my soul by the very person you say you believe and will walk beside. How will your money be spent? $10,000 may seem like a large amount of money. To me, it's not. Money should not be a factor, but unfortunately it is. So how will I spend $10,000? It's easy. 7,000 of that 10,000 is strictly to bring in a gentleman from the United States from a program called Love 416 who has agreed under my ministry to come in and head spear the research. What will the research entail? It will entail going across Canada to several communities, collecting random surveys taken by random males on the topic of prostitution and exploitation. Part of that $7,000 will be covering the individual living accommodation, food, and expenses such as travel. The rest of the $7,000 will be given directly to those participants who take part in the survey, because the survey will be opening up wounds and memories. What will the remaining $10,000 cover? It will cover expenses that I have to endure. You see, for far too long since I've been out of work for the past year, people have called me lazy, a dumbass, a money sucker of the system, and a worthless piece of shit that should die. But here's the reality. I can't work because of what I went through. I've tried working. I had a contract for 3 years. But at the end of it, my past caught up with me. The reality sunk in. The funds that I will be using will help me pay my rent, will help me live day to day, as I myself continue to do research on how to get my organization up and running. It will give me a chance to have a job, to be self-employed, to once again feel as though I'm part of society, doing something for the good of God. Will you take my hand and come with me on this great journey to put the joy back in journey? I promise updates on a bi-weekly or monthly basis. I will have daily updates to my Facebook page called The Journey Ministries. Journey has a capital J, O, and Y. Why? To represent putting the joy back in journey. I'm ready to do that. Are you?